ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर उन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna to everybody. In continuation of reading the teachings of Lord Chaitanya from page 3. It has also been stated that two thieves stole away the lad from his father's door with a view to purloin his jewels and give him sweetmeats on the way. The lad exercised his illusory energy and deceived the thieves back towards his own house. The thieves, for fear of detection, left the boy there and fled. Another miraculous act has been described of the lads demanding and getting from Hiranya and Jagadisha all the offerings they had collected for worshiping Krishna on the day of Ekadashi. When only 4 years of age, he sat on rejected cooking pots which were considered unholy by his mother. He explained to his mother that there was no question of holiness and unholiness as regards earthen pots thrown away after the cooking was over. These anecdotes relate to the tender age up to the 5th year. In his 8th year, he was admitted into the Tola of Gangadas Pandit in Ganagadhara, close by the village of Mayapur. In 2 years, he became well read in Sanskrit grammar and rhetoric. His readings after that were of the nature of self-study in his own house, where he had found all important books belonging to his father, who was a Pandit himself. It appears that he read the Smriti in his own study and Nyaya also, in competition with his friends who were then studying under the celebrated Pandit Raghunatha Shiromani. Now, after the 10th year of his age, Chaitanya became a passable scholar in grammar, rhetoric, the Smriti, and Nyaya. It was after this that his elder brother Vishwarupa left his house and accepted the ashrama status of a sannyasi. Ecstatic. Chaitanya, though a very young boy, consoled his parents, saying that he would serve them with a view to please God. Just after that, his father left this world. His mother was exceedingly sorry, and Mahaprabhu, with his usually contented appearance, consoled his widowed mother. It was at the age of 14 or 15 that Mahaprabhu was married to Lakshmi Devi, the daughter of Vallabhacharya, also of Nadia. He was at this age considered one of the best scholars of Nadia, the renowned seat of Nyaya philosophy and Sanskrit learning. Not to speak of the Maratha Pandits, the Nayaks were all afraid of confronting him in literary discussions. Being a married man, he went to eastern Bengal on the banks of Padma for acquirement of wealth. There he displayed his learning and obtained a good sum of money. It was at this time that he preached Vaishnavism at intervals. After teaching him the principles of Vaishnavism, he ordered Tapana Mishra to go and live in Banaras. During his residence in East Bengal, his wife Lakshmi Devi left this world from the effects of snake bite. On returning home, he found his mother in a mourning state. He consoled her with a lecture on the uncertainty of human affairs. It was at his mother's request that he married Vishnu Priya, the daughter of Raja Pandit Sanatana Mishra. His comrades joined him on his return from Pravasa or Sojourn. He was now so renowned that he was considered to be the best Pandit in Nadia. Keshava Mishra of Kashmir, who had called him the great Digvijay, came to Nadia with a view to discuss with the Pandits of that place. Afraid of the so-called conquering Pandit, the Tola professors of Nadia left their town on pretence of invitation, and Keshava met Mahaprabhu at the Barakona Ghata in Mayapur. And after a very short discussion with him, the boy defeated him, and mortification obliged him to decamp. Nimai Pandita was now the most important Pandit of his times. It was the age of 16 or 17 that he travelled to Gaya with a host of his students, and they took his spiritual initiation from Ishwarapuri, a Vaishnava sannyasi and a disciple of the renowned Madhavendra Puri. Upon his return to Nadia, Nimai Pandit turned religious preacher, and his religious nature became so strongly represented that Advaita Prabhu, Srivasa, and others who had, before the birth of Chaitanya, already accepted the Vaishnava faith were astonished at the change in the young man. He was then no more a contending Nayayika, a wrangling Smrata, and a criticizing Ryoterition. He swooned at the name of Krishna and behaved as an inspired man under the influence of his religious sentiment. It has been described by Murari Gupta, an eyewitness, that he showed his heavenly powers in the house of Srivasa Pandit in the presence of hundreds of his followers who were mostly well-read scholars. It was at this time that he opened a nocturnal school of Kirtan in the compound of Srivas Pandit with his sincere followers. Then he preached, there he sang, there he danced, and there he expressed all sorts of religious feelings. Nityananda Prabhu, who was then a preacher of Vaishnavism and who had then completed his travels all over India, joined him by at that time. In fact, a host of Pandit preachers of Vaishnavism, all sincere at heart, came and joined him from different parts of Bengal. Nadia now became the regular seat of a host of Vaishnava acharyas, saintly teachers whose mission was to spiritualize mankind with the highest influence of Vaishnava devotional creed. The first mandate that he issued to Prabhu Nityananda and Haridas, his close associates, was this: go, friends, go through the streets of the town, meet every man at his door, and ask him to sing the name of Hari with a holy name. And you then come and report to me every evening the result of your preaching. Thus ordered, the two preachers went on and met Jagai and Madai, the two most uh, abominable characters. They insulted the preachers on hearing Mahaprabhu's mandate, but were soon converted by the influence of bhakti inculcated by their Lord. The people of Nadia were now surprised. They said, Nimai Pandit is not only a gigantic genius, but he is certainly a missionary from God Almighty. From this time to his 23rd year, Mahaprabhu preached his principles not only in Nadia but also in important towns and villages around his city. In the houses of his followers, he showed miracles, taught the esoteric principles of bhakti, and sang his Sankirtana with other bhaktas or devotees. His followers of the town of Nadia commenced to sing the holy name of Hari in the streets and bazaars. This created a sensation and rose different feelings in different quarters. The bhaktas were highly pleased. The Smarata caste conscious Brahmins became jealous of Nimai Pandit's success and complained to Chand Kazi against the character of Chaitanya as an Hindu. The Kazi came to Srivas Pandit house and broke a mridangam, drum used in Sankirtana, there and declared that unless Nimai Pandit ceased to make noise about his queer religion, he should be obliged to enforce Mohammedanism on him and his followers. This was brought to Mahaprabhu's notice. He ordered the two people to appear in the evening, each with a torch in his hand. This they did, and Nimai marched out with his Sankirtana divided into 14 groups. And on his arrival at Qazi's house, he held a long conversation with Qazi and in the end communicated into his heart his Vaishnava influence by touching his body. The Qazi then wept and admitted that he had felt a keen spiritual influence which has cleared up his doubts and produced in him a religious sentiment which gave him the highest ecstasy. The Qazi then joined the Sankirtana party. The world was astonished at the spiritual power of the great Lord, and hundreds of heretics converted, joining the banner of Vishwambhara after this affair. So I end here for today's reading, and just to summarize. So today's reading summarizes about the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya at his tender age and how Sri Lord Chaitanya arose to the platform of um, spreading the Vaishnavism. At a very young age, when he spent 2 years of his own self-study in his home by referring to the books which were used by his father, which had helped him to gain a lot of knowledge by Smriti and other books. Even at the time of at the age of from 5 to 8, when the other kids were being going to the school with one of the famous Raghunath Pandit, but Lord Chaitanya was doing self-study at his home, and he became perfect in Sanskrit grammar, and he had gained a lot of knowledge by the time at the age of 8, or I think at the age of 8 or 10. Yeah. Then at the age of 13 or 14 years, 14 or years he gets married, um, and where he moved to East Bengal in order to earn some money by using his the knowledge gained, and where he becomes well known for his panditness and great knowledge what he has acquired, and delivering that knowledge to the people. When his wife expires due to Zeitnam bite, when he comes back and due to his mother compulsion, in the meantime, his brother quits the house, which brings a lot of sorrowness to his mother, where he consoles his mother, saying that he will look after her as to please the Lord. And then he gets married to second time, and that is where he starts um, his spiritual journey after the second marriage. Then gets um, he goes to where he meets his spiritual master Ishwar Puri and gets initiated Nadia, and comes back, and he is completely a different Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with full of spiritual characteristics, which everyone notices in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The great scholar has been completely different after being initiated from Ishwara Puri. That is where he meets at this time different Vaishnavas, and he meets Nityananda, Prabhu, Srivas, and Advaita, and begins the Sankirtana party and starts spreading everywhere. As we have read in Haridasa Thakur Namacharya book, where this pastime of Khazi been already narrated there, the same thing is narrated here about Khazi and Jagai and Matai, and that's how Sri Lord Chaitanya begins his spiritual uh, exhibitions. So I